Well, this is Handlock Steve wishing you a very good morning. I hope that light in the background isn't too contrasting, but we haven't spoken for a while about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and anyone who's been paying attention will have noticed that all of the main cryptocurrencies have taken a real big leap forward. Bitcoin right now is around about $18,000, as I checked about 10 minutes ago. Litecoin is up around about 70, and Ethereum is around about 560 or so. Now, what's behind this sudden leap forward? Well, part of it is inflation, but another part of it is that banks are now realizing that this is not going to go away. I think what we've seen in the last 11 years basically is that the banks have spent that time trying to break Bitcoin with all of their might. They've employed probably the best hackers in the world to try and get into the Bitcoin system, and having realized that they can't manipulate Bitcoin, have now bought into it, and they're buying into it as a reserve position. Now, I mentioned a long time ago, I don't know whether Cliff High did, but he's been touting Bitcoin as a main currency for a long time. But I've been touting that Bitcoin will be the world reserve currency. And I kind of wondered how they would do this, and now we see banks are slowly starting to buy in, and they're socking it away, and you can see this by the whale purchases, and we'll just flip over to that and show you that chart. Okay, so this is the Bitcoin whale map, and it's the hourly map of unspent Bitcoins. Bubbles show locations where Bitcoins were inflowed and accumulated by different wallet sizes. Here is an example. Imagine one has a Bitcoin wallet with 10,000 Bitcoin. Then imagine that the wallet has inflows. Bitcoin was bought by this wallet at the 2017 peak, 2018 3,000 bottom, and just now at 9,000 in May. Since then the wallet has not touched these inflows, i.e. it still hodls this Bitcoin. Bubbles show locations and amounts where these inflows have happened. So these are huge purchases here, as you can see where these turquoise bubbles are, and they have just stayed in the person's possession. They haven't been traded. So these are large traders. These are people who have bought between 1,000 and 10,000 Bitcoins in total. But the biggest platform to buy in to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is PayPal, and this is a staggering change in the whole playing field. To have a major platform, a major payment system like PayPal take this on board. Now, I realize that you can't switch cryptocurrencies for regular fiat currencies, but you can make purchases, and you can hold your cryptocurrencies on their platform. With the financial world slowly adapting the culture of cryptocurrencies, it finally looks like payment services will have to bend in the same direction as well. PayPal announced on Wednesday that it will allow users to hold Bitcoin and other virtual currencies. This is both in its online wallet and shop. And so this tells me one thing, that PayPal has seen the long-term possibilities of cryptocurrencies, and this is why they've gone to the length of putting a secure crypto wallet within their system to hold your cryptocurrencies for use. And secondly, that they see a broad adoption of businesses buying and selling using Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. And the reason that they're going to do this is because basically every currency in the world now is hyperinflating their currency base. Okay, so what happens, say for our example, now in Canada, here we had $1 trillion in debt, and we have now increased that to about $1.5 trillion. We've increased $500 billion in a little under a year. So unlike the 2007-2008 crisis, most of the money that went to bail out the banks actually stayed in the bank's vaults, and they then invested that overseas, so that money really didn't hit our systems. However, this has been directly injected into the economy, And so let's bring this down to a simple figure so we can all understand. If you have an economy that is worth $1 million and you suddenly add $500,000 to that economy, each dollar is then worth approximately 66 cents to be able to absorb that $500,000 extra. So basically your value of your currency takes a hit, and of course your purchasing power. And one of the things that you have to kind of do with these systems, or to understand inflation, is you have to kind of invert your mind a little bit. And so what we tend to see is prices going up in the store, and of course we complain about those price increases and, oh, isn't this terrible? But really what we fail to recognize is those price increases are a reflection of the drop in value of your dollar. And so of course as more and more banks and more big investors realize that they need a reserve position, they will be buying into Bitcoin. And as Max Kaiser, now he's predicting $400,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2021. Citibank's crypto investment branch, which is kind of interesting, the fact that Citibank would have an investment branch. And I'm going to take you through the 8 biggest banks in the world that are buying into Bitcoin. They're predicting over $300,000 a coin by the end of 2021, which is a massive increase. So if you're not into Bitcoin now, even if you buy $100 a month, buy something in Bitcoin as your reserve position. These people are telling you, okay, they're telling you what they're doing now, that just as we are seeing with our systems around the world, the cat is out of the bag. Okay, we can see where we're going to in banking, and we're going to get rid of fiat currency in a large part, I believe. Okay, so this is from CoinDesk, 8 banking giants embracing Bitcoin and blockchain technology. So let's just flip through this pretty quickly. Number 1, BNP Paribas is a huge French bank. 2, Societe Generale, I think is probably the largest bank in France. Oh, 3rd largest in terms of assets. 3, Citibank, we've already spoken about. 4, UBS, Swiss investment bank. 5, Barclays Bank in England. 6, the mighty Goldman Sachs. 7, Banco Santander. This is a Spanish banking giant. And 8 is Standard Chartered. These are huge banks, and for them to be taking on Bitcoin and a position with Bitcoin as a reserve position is very, very telling indeed. Now this changeover is going to take an awful long time because there is still a large number of people in our population either are not financially well off to even have a bank account or any kind of online systems, access to online stuff, and are still using cash as their main means of purchasing. Certainly homeless people who are begging on the street, and that number is going to increase. People who are using Money Mart, and even if you get a preloaded credit card, you still have to have some kind of cash to pay for that, because if you're getting a preloaded credit card, you don't have any kind of credit to buy the card with. So it's going to take an awful long time before cash is completely erased, if it ever will be completely erased. And of course, if things do get dire enough, we will go back to things like the farmer's check, where you hand around a check in your community and you just keep signing over a couple of $100, and it's actually amazing. It's actually amazing how much can be generated in a closed loop system by using a farmer's check. And again, it's a great reminder that money is really, we assign the value to money. It was just a piece of paper and someone wrote $200 on it and signed it. And you just keep passing that check on, you keep signing it over for different goods and services within your community. And really, no money is changing hands except in your own mind, but all kinds of things are being accomplished with the use of that farmer's check. So we are really going to get a wake-up call as to what money is, how it works. But seriously, I think one way or another, we are going to find, well, as Max Kaiser calls, Bitcoin is the black hole of money. Okay, it's going to suck in all the fiat currency, it's going to suck in all the gold and all the silver until nothing else is left but Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And all of these banks, this is what's delicious to me, is you see all these scummy little banks, they think they're going to control Bitcoin by buying into it. They're going to try and buy up as much Bitcoin as they can, and they're going to use that position as a reserve position and to manipulate that currency, or so they think. But if they eliminate the vast majority of fiat currency, and other countries will only accept Bitcoin in exchange for major purchases like grains, pork bellies, food, oil, resources, commodities, this kind of stuff, they're going to have to push that Bitcoin out into circulation, and it will become, by that method, the reserve currency. It will enter circulation, and of course there will be other smaller cryptocurrencies that are purpose driven. Theta, I think Theta coin has got an amazing future. This is still an incredible buy-in. It's still sitting around about 60 cents now. Please, this is not financial advice, okay? I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just saying what I think has a brilliant future. And Samsung, of course, is going to use Theta for their ESPN streaming on their new Galaxy phone. And it won't be long before other streaming organizations, like Amazon Prime, Disney, Netflix, this kind of stuff, YouTube, Bitchute, all of these will just start handing off to Theta and take a slice of the action and let that platform run everything, because that algorithm is basically going to run the entirety of a channel like YouTube. No need to censor. No need to have copyright issues, because it'll be on the blockchain that will resolve all of that. And I am hearing that Theta coin will go from where it is right now, 60 cents, 61 cents, up to $100. And I can easily see that, because like I say, once these big mega corporations start piling on, and again, you're going to see more and more people, realizing that cryptocurrencies are safe when companies like PayPal take them on board. And of course, you get to use them. Or maybe companies only want to deal in Bitcoin because it's anonymous. It is out of the hands of the government, and it is unconfiscatable, and no middlemen can step in. In fact, I call Bitcoin tally stick, digital tally stick. Okay, it eliminates all third-party interests that might want to charge some kind of fee on every transaction that you make. All you've got to do is deal with the miners, and the miners have a tier payment system for the speed at which you want that transaction to go through. But even at the slowest speed, you'd be waiting, only a couple of hours tops. And that is more than enough if you're transferring Bitcoin, if you're buying other cryptos. Who cares if it takes a day for that transaction to go through? This is going to be the way to go in the future. And so you need to have a little bit of cash in your own country. You need to have some crypto. Gold and silver, I still think silver is a great investment. It is a industrial metal, and it will continue to be needed well into the future. And the cost of basically getting silver out of all of these computer components and so on and so forth, they have a big machine in Germany, can do the whole thing. Silver is priced at $1,500 an ounce. And so when we get to the point where all of the silver is used up, or it's in short supply, and we're reclaiming silver, that's the kind of price level it will settle at. So it's still a good investment as far as I can see. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you are, I wouldn't say invest the bank, but certainly do what the banks are doing. The banks are telling you, set a little cryptocurrency aside as a reserve position, and Bitcoin in particular. This is probably your safest coin. like I say, it's been up and running for 11 years, and it has been sorely tested by all of the hackers that have tried to get into cryptos. And I think the coming year is going to see a very bright future for people who bother to take the time to investigate and invest in cryptos. Okay, well, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe below. And in the meantime, this is Hamnox T wishing you a very pleasant morning, and we will talk very, very shortly. See you now. Take care. Bye.